yeah, it's the only thing we can play without getting copyrighted, you know? I have to look and see if they copyrighted the last couple of videos, but I think this is the only music I can listen to without getting hit with the copyrights.
back with Stocks and Trade Daily Recap, and today's ticker is IMUC.
In 1 mile, at the roundabout, take the third exit on North Dakota 23.
So, IMUC, great day trade this morning, both ways at this point. Now, I will talk about the long setup, mainly because I want to talk about what we went over yesterday afternoon in Stocks and Trade Pro, as well as last night. Now, keep in mind, it is July 6th. For another week, we have a sale going, $50 off on monthly or annual plans. Hit the link below. The best part, though, trying to be humble, is if you take advantage of the sale, you get, we've never done this before, Stocks and Trade Pro, I do twice daily webinars where you see my screen, trade live, locate live, etc. But you can get, if you take advantage of the sale, 3 live sessions in July. We're going to do on Fridays, midday. They will be recorded. They will be archived. You will have direct access to me.
At the roundabout, take the third exit on North Dakota 23.
Setups. Again, hit that link below. We start those on the 13th, so a week from, no, it'd be the 14th, so a week from tomorrow. We'll start those on the 14th, I guess it would be. So again, IMUC, what did we talk about yesterday afternoon? Big gainer. Okay, this is a shady stock.
Continue straight for 13 minutes to North Dakota 23.
Only because of, they had to get their stock price up because of delisting. It's strictly a momentum play. We didn't trade it yesterday. We were looking at CLSN. But what I liked late day and what we were talking about in chat with Stocks and Trade Pro was this VWAP hold and basically sideways midday action and then perk into the close. This is a great trade for guys under the pattern day trader rule. That's one of the reasons we do these in Stocks and Trade Pro, these live sessions at the end of the day, because we're looking from 3:30 to 4 for potential overnight trades for the guys under the PDT. Because, there's always risk overnight, but if you can maximize your risk reward, you can trade something like IMUC in the 170s, 180s. You wake up the next day, you're at 2 plus, maybe you hold on a little longer, you get 250, 260, but the idea is you then don't have to use a day trade. You can be in and out of the stock in a couple hours of market time. Now, obviously not, it's 12 hours later in real time, but when it comes to actual market time, you're getting in at 3:30, 4 o'clock, you're getting out at 9:30 the next day. So great trade for that. Now, this is purely what I call a smash and grab play. You're taking the momentum, you're riding that up. As soon as the stock pulls back, you're out. But our idea this morning was that the fact that it held midday, and again, we talked about it last night at 7 p.m. I do a weekly strategy session at 7 p.m. in Stocks and Trade Pro, where we break down more nitty-gritty of particular setups. So we're looking at this. Our idea in pre-market this morning was to buy that $2 break with risk back on 175, 180-ish. The goal was, 50 to 70 cents, maybe $1 of upside if this really got crazy. You want to maximize your risk to reward. Risking 20 cents, you want to be able to make 50, 60, 70, 80 cents of that or $1. Now, not that that's always going to come to fruition. You can only control your losses. You can't control your gains. You can't make this stock go to 3 simply because you want it to go to 3. But our idea was to buy at 2 with risk back 175, 180. Because if it gets back to that level, it's most likely to, especially after open, had this stock failed, cracks 175, it's going to fall apart. Again, it's only up based on the fact that these guys have to get their stock price up to maintain their market performance. Then, basically, ripped. We're looking, what we normally track is 5-minute candles. So let me change my tool here. I want to zoom in. So what we're looking at on the momentum basis, usually you get a red 5-minute candle. That's a good indication that this thing is getting up. So we ended up talking about a potential exit of 250 because it was really struggling at that. and then you see stock falls apart. It's jumped. Okay? You know, this is by no means an endorsement of IMUC, and if anything, once you get that double, triple, quadruple top of 250, it's probably solid short. So, great trade. Again, check out that link below. Get access to those three webinars, and I would love to see you guys. Almost had to sneeze there. I held it off. Anyway, great trade on IMUC. Momentum long in the morning. Broke down live in detail, all recorded. You can watch it after the fact. Take advantage of the sale, and I'll see you on July 14th, 21st, 28th. I think those are the days. It's basically the last 3 Fridays of July. Interact, ask questions about the platform, about trading, doing great things in stocks and trading. I look forward to seeing you guys next time. Give it up for Tim Gattani, and go.
You know, I'm giving this speech and I'm feeling like the smartest guy in the world. I was just coming off of my best month ever in my career, and not 1 week after preaching to everybody, cut losses intelligently, this happened to me. Yeah, Blake, this was a really humbling moment for me in my career, and unfortunately a mistake I had to make a few times. But this is exactly what makes trading so infuriating, because I just told everybody, cut losses intelligently, don't get stubborn. You know, I'm telling you my key rules, and I can't even follow them, and 1 week later I took a loss well beyond anything I ever thought was possible. I think my worst loss in my career up until this point was $60,000. So it blew it out of the water. And Blake, I mean, the problem was my discipline. There was nothing different about this. I look at this daily chart, and this is nothing I haven't seen 100 times. There's nothing weird about this. It wasn't lack of knowledge that cost me. It wasn't lack of experience. It wasn't a new pattern, that's for sure. It was my lack of discipline. And the problem with trading is that it all comes back to discipline, and that's the hardest thing to control, because the rules mean nothing without them. I mean, it can happen to any trader at any time if you're not following your rules. It sounds great to say, I have these rules that protect me, but they don't protect you if you don't follow them. So even 1 time out of 100 can be a disaster. I mean, ask those who were short KBIO or those who were short AQXP. These stocks that had crazy runs from the $2 area to $50. I mean, if you're shorting without discipline in a stock like that, your account goes boom really quickly. And unfortunately, you know, a break of discipline, it doesn't even have to be intentional. It can be an honest mistake. And I saw this just earlier in August on UPLMQ, a almost $34,000 loss. One of my very important rules is that I never will hold through earnings. It's a gamble. I don't want to be long through earnings. I don't want to be short through earnings, because I don't know if it's going to be good or bad numbers. I don't know what the market reaction is going to be to that. It's just all one big unknown. So I go out of my way to get out of positions. The day I entered this UPLMQ position, I actually was exiting another trade because it had earnings after hours and I didn't want to be short still. But UPLMQ, I completely forgot about it, and it was entirely my fault. I had seen a press release earlier in the week about their expected earnings conference call. I had been warned on Twitter by somebody who was saying, oh, I think UPLMQ is going to hold up until, you know, after their earnings date. And the day I entered this trade, just totally slipped my mind. I was playing the chart pattern. It was just like any other old trade. I mean, it was daily chart, upper right corner there. First red day after a big run up. I was just scaling in for a swing. I was going to risk off of, I think, the lower high on that afternoon overnight, they dropped to an earnings. It has a huge gap up. Trades on the OTC market. There was no chance for me to get out. I think its first prints that morning pre-market were in the mid 390s, and I was in from a 325 average. And then I made things a little bit worse. I thought about my potential loss. I thought, oh no, this is going to be my worst loss of the year. And instead of following my plan, getting out right at market open, I sat, I waited, I hoped for a pullback, didn't get it, had to chase that morning spike, and got out near the top. So, I got what I deserved, even though it was a completely honest and unintentional mistake. So, the key lessons from that one: holding through earnings is a gamble. I mean, UPLM2 could have just easily put out patterns. They could have easily smoked all the longs, paid my short really nicely. I wouldn't have deserved that gain. I mean, that would have been a lucky gain. It kind of reminds me of my EVOK trade. That's what you asked me about. The short that I was in probably about a month ago, towards the end of July. And I was building into a short throughout the afternoon on day 3 of the big run-up. I was thinking short sell swing. I was thinking, okay, this is going to be a great swing play. In a few days, I'll cover it up, take my gains. Instead that afternoon, they had an offering, and the stock dropped about 30% in an hour, and I covered up much quicker than I expected. In that case, this went in my favor, but it still was unexpected news. UPLM2, I mean, like I said, it was an honest mistake, but it cost me. And I thought about the loss, I wasn't playing the chart, and that made the situation much worse. I focused on the wrong factors. So the question you ought to be asking yourself, because I'm preaching discipline, I'm talking about, 99 times out of 100 isn't good enough. So you might be thinking, does trading demand perfection? No, I don't think it does. Because we're all human. We're going to make mistakes. We're all going to be there. We're all going to have those times where we're in a trade that is outside of our plan. If perfection was required, nobody would succeed. I make plenty of mistakes.
In 1 mile, at the roundabout, take the first exit on North Dakota 23.
Every day, but don't expect it. I know some traders who will make a mistake and spend the rest of the day or even the rest of the week beating themselves up. That gets you nowhere. You need to be able to just put your head down and move on. Get on to the next opportunity. The key question you have to be ready to answer is, when you make that rare mistake, what do you do? And these are the most important trading decisions that you're going to make in your trading career. Because that mistake situation could be maybe a slightly larger loss than normal, or if you keep on doing the wrong things from that point forward, you can take that slightly larger than normal loss and turn it into a disaster, like late was for me. So some types of mistake situations that I face pretty frequently. One is if I accidentally hold against news that goes against me, just like UPLM2. Easiest fix for a situation like that is just get the hell out. There was another trade I had back in 2014 when I was early on in my NASDAQ trading. It was the ticker RADA, up from about $1 to $3. I was trying to short it. And then midday one day, they announced earnings.
At the roundabout, take the first exit on North Dakota 23.
I didn't cut my loss. I rode that thing up to 6. I was down $100,000, and it closed near its highs, and I was holding overnight. That could have easily gapped up to 7, easily ripped to 10. That could have been my leg right then. I could have lost over $200,000.
Continue straight for 25 minutes.
But I was lucky in that situation. It gapped down, and I was able to, ride it back down and get out of a stubborn trade for only a $5,000 loss. But when that unexpected news hits, it's just so important to get out, because something fundamentally has changed. The market is going to react to that, and especially at first. There's going to be some pretty crazy volatility when a press release hits midday. So I just like to step out of the way. Let that volatility happen, let the market react, and you can always get back in later. There's no point, though, sitting through it, putting yourself in a stubborn situation, a dangerous situation. And even if it does work out like RADA did for me, there's a ton of opportunity cost there. I wasn't able to short when it was up in the 6s, and it really was time. And I mean, I probably missed out on a pretty nice gain potential there because of it. Second mistake situation here would be if I take too large of a position. I turn into Mr. Money Eyes here, where usually I just get a little bit too greedy. I'm thinking about the potential reward. I'm focused on the wrong factors. I see a setup, I say, wow, I want to make $10,000 on this. And then I start piling into the position without really thinking about my risk. And next thing I know, when it does come time to cut that loss, I say, whoa, wait a minute, like, I don't want to lose this much. Now, at this point, I've gotten a lot more risk conscious in the past year of my trading. And now I know pretty quickly if I am in too big. Before I enter any trade, I do know where would I cut the loss if this goes wrong. And I try to size in appropriately and make sure that I would use a dollar amount that I'm comfortable with. Now, if you are in a situation where you are just in too big, if you answer that question, how much would I lose if this trade goes wrong, and that number is too big for your comfort, what do? First and easy solution is just immediately downsize. Whether it's for plus a few cents a share, minus a few cents a share, it really doesn't matter. What it's all about is getting that risk back down to a level you're comfortable with, so you can make good decisions through the rest of the trade. So I will try to do this, but sometimes that potential reward is just a little too good. Sometimes you want to stay a little more stubborn with your size. Or sometimes in the market, things just happen too quickly. You might realize you're in too big, and all of a sudden the stock has flown against you, and you're at that point where you need to get out. You have to suck it up and take that loss. It might be a little bit bigger than you like, but you need to trust your plan. You need to get out at your risk where you were supposed to, because as bad as this loss feels right now, it's going to feel 10 times worse when that stock keeps going against you. And all of a sudden, you know, that loss you weren't comfortable with is doubled or tripled. And, you know, it just opens the door to a very long and scary hold, and you're just crossing your fingers praying it comes back your way. Third type of mistake situation, and really my most common one, is if I don't cut a loss where I planned. I get stubborn a lot. It happens. Usually when it comes time for me to stop out, I tend to give the stock a little bit of time to test every now and then. I want to make sure I don't get faked out, and it really is silly that I'm so scared about getting faked out, because you can always get back in. I need to keep reminding myself of that. But I find myself in these mistake situations. For example, this chart on the right, this was one I got stubborn in earlier this year, where I was short, I was risking off to the morning high, I was built in right, but in the afternoon it ripped straight up, it went through 840. I kept waiting and waiting and waiting for a pullback to let me out. And you know, I was hoping it would stuff, I was hoping it would fail, but it didn't turn out that way. It just held up, it kept going, and next thing I knew, I was in this stock overnight, and I think the next morning it gapped up, it ripped, and I took a much bigger loss than I should have if I had just stopped out at 840. So, the solutions for getting stubborn. The first one, probably the most difficult, just cut it. If you just got stubborn, you're probably going to stay stubborn. That's not okay, that certainly doesn't excuse it, but I know it's very hard for me if I realize, oh man, I might be a little trapped, to just take off the trade and move on. I usually want to take the second option, which is waiting for a price correction, where, you know, I'm in this short, and like I said, I was waiting for a pullback to the 840 area. That was where I wanted my exit to be. And you know what, in this case I didn't get it, and that's why option number 2 can get risky, because sometimes you don't get that relief and you do get stuck. So when those cases happen, when I do get myself stuck, I take option 3, which is I look for a new risk level. I let the chart keep on developing. I let the next spike set its high. And then as that stock is consolidating, I have my new risk point, and you know, it's well beyond where I meant to risk the first time, and it's going to be an uncomfortable loss, but I really make sure now that I do not get stubborn again, because every single bad decision you make after the first one just makes the situation worse and worse. Now, the one thing I will never do in any of these mistake situations is add. I won't try to fix it anymore. This is my new golden rule. I mean, this has made all the difference for me in the world this year, and I cannot believe how long it took me to see it. You always hear the top traders like Tim or Nate or whoever say, don't fight stocks, you know, don't average up, don't average down, don't add to a loser. And I never listened. It just never clicked for me for whatever reason. It really is an adrenaline rush to be in that trade, you're losing money, and then you have that perfect ad, turn that loss into break even, turn it into a win. It feels great. But the times it works do not make up for the times it doesn't. I mean, Lake was a $290,000 loss. PBMD was a $180,000 loss. CANF was a $116,000 loss. And all of these trades, there was nothing special about them. These all started like my normal everyday trades, where I size in appropriately, I have my risk. But then what would happen on these trades is I wouldn't stop out, I'd get stubborn, and then I would dig in my heels and fight. And I would say, well, I don't want to take a loss on this now that I'm down 10,000, so I'm going to add. And I'm going to add again. And before I know it, I've got a position that is way out of control. And it ends like this. It ends with an emotionally devastating loss, a financially devastating loss. And so as soon as I had that aha moment, late 2015, early 2016, I made sure this is a rule I wouldn't break anymore. And you can see my worst loss this year now is UPLMQ, that unintentional mistake. But if you think about my intentional mistakes, my times I got stubborn, like HMNY, I mean, that was my worst loss of the year before UPLMQ. That was $16,000 compared to $180,000 last year and $290,000 the year before that. I have drastically cut down my losers. And what I really want people to focus on this table is the ratios. If you take leg, you can add up my 5 biggest wins from 2014 and that doesn't cover my leg loss. You take my 5 biggest wins from 2015, those barely cover PVMD. This year, my biggest win alone covers my top 2 losses. So those ratios are finally on my side, and that's part of the reason that this year has been a great bounce back year for me, is because I control my risk so much better just from that one simple rule of not fighting. And that doesn't mean I never add to a losing position, it just means I don't add outside of my risk. If your stop point has come and gone, my punishment is sitting and watching. And that might mean, you know, I see a point where I say, oh, this is the perfect short, it's time, like I wanna pile in right here. My punishment for getting stubborn is I have to watch. So, other mistake situations, I mean, I'm sure others exist. I just outlined the ones that are the most common for me. The question you have to ask yourselves is, are you breaking a rule? If you're breaking a rule, you're making a mistake. Controlling your mistakes by only making one will just do you so much good. So when you're in that mistake situation, when emotions are running high, when you're uncomfortable, just do the right thing. You know, don't make another. Don't try to fix it. Don't add like I've done in the past, because again, like we just went over, that is what opens the door to the huge disasters. Now, some of you might be asking, did I miss an obvious mistake situation? Taking a trade that didn't work, taking a loss. This is a firm no. There is nothing wrong with taking a loss. Sometimes a setup just doesn't work. I've taken over 1,500 losses since I first started trading. I've still made plenty of money. Losing is a very, very necessary part of being successful. And this is hard for some people to wrap their heads around, but you have to be willing to lose as a trader. You really shouldn't fear them, you should embrace them. Now, to be comfortable taking a loss, there are some factors that go into that. One is that you have to be financially comfortable. You can't have put yourself in a situation where there's just an intense pressure to succeed immediately. You can't come to the market saying, I have to make money today. That mindset is going to destroy you, because every day there aren't good opportunities in the market. Look at today. I mean, it's one of the most boring days I've seen in a long time. I get asked all the time, you know, is $1,000 enough to start? Is $2,000? Is $5,000? I mean, the answer completely depends on you. It depends on your life situation. I mean, I can't answer that, unfortunately. You just have to keep yourselves comfortable. That's the most important thing. If you're not comfortable because of financial reasons, the market's going to eat you alive. Your emotions are going to rule you. Even if you do have a lot of money and you know you can jump in with both feet, you still want to trade small early when you're a new trader, when you're making your beginner mistakes. I mean, I still make plenty of mistakes, and I'm a veteran at this point. One email I got that I will always remember, this will always stick with me, is a challenge student who emailed me, and they had just joined the challenge 2 weeks before, and they had just started trading. They were completely new to everything, and they had joined with a $60,000 account and told me they had 30 left. And I couldn't believe that, you know, they were like, they just didn't know not to trade that kind of size early. $30,000 is so much harder to recover than $1,000 or $2,000. You know, it's just, and it's so much more devastating in terms of real world money. So, I mean, I know it's exciting, and I know you want to jump in and make money right away, but if you let those early mistakes and those early losses wipe you out to a point that's not recoverable, you're never going to have a chance to succeed. I mean, again, everyone loses sometimes. My 1,500 losses, that's about 30% of my trades. I think a couple years ago this number was more like a 72% winning percentage. So it's gone down in the last couple of years, which means I'm probably winning it more like a 65% rate now. But my losses are so small and so controlled that I'm still very profitable overall. And I said earlier, don't fear losses, embrace them. And that's because taking a loss as a trader is one of the best things you can do. That's how you control your risk. That's how you feel safe in a trade, knowing when you're going to stop out, knowing how much you're willing to lose, and trusting yourself to follow that plan. If you're in a breakout and that breakout stuffs and it doesn't work and you have to stop out, what's there to be emotional about? It's, you know, it was a good setup, it was a good try, but it didn't work. Go on and try the next one, but control those losses. Where you get into trouble is if your breakout stuffs and then you don't take the loss, and all of a sudden you double it or triple it. That's when the emotions kick in. That's when I would be frustrated as a trader. Not if I took a loss, but if I made a mistake. One thing now, I guess, is we've talked a lot about losing, and you know, you can't just lose all the time. I say to embrace losses, but that doesn't mean lose 20 trades in a row and slowly bleed off your account. So some things you can do to learn to lose a little bit less. I think trade analysis is one of the most important things new traders can do. It's so important to track all of your trades. You need to be able to answer the question, where do I succeed and where do I fail? And that takes time to figure out, that takes losses to figure out. I've frequently told people about how I blew up my $1,500 portion of my account the first time that I was trading. It was my first 6 months, from May 2011 till November 2011. That was my period where I really struggled. And at the time, I was just trying to do a little bit of everything. I was trying to do way too much. I was, new to penny stocking silver. I was listening to some other gurus, and I was just trying to trade every setup under the sun. And none of them I really was all that good at. None of them I understood completely. And I wound up blowing up as a result. I took a lot of losses, but I tracked those trades, I tracked those losses, and I also tracked my wins. And I started to figure out, where am I comfortable? Where do I find my success? Where do I see myself failing? And my big turning point as a trader was because I tracked these trades, because I could answer these questions, I figured out where I was good. I figured out my niche. At the time, it was buying OTC breakout. Buying new promotion releases. And I mean, that narrowing my focus down to just those two setups and ignoring everything else is what enabled me to be consistent and finally start growing my account. I do encourage tracking because there can be a big difference in perception versus reality. You might feel like you're losing all the time at a setup or winning all the time at the setup, but how profitable are you overall in it? I tracked my trades for a while back in February and March. I was still struggling a little bit, not too happy with how I was trading. And one of the areas that kind of surprised me in my results was my breakouts. Now, I wasn't at all surprised that I was a losing trader when I was trying to anticipate breakouts, because I've always preached against that. That's never been a part of my strategy. But sometimes I have little lapses in discipline and I try to do it anyway. And I mean, first of all, I preach against it because I think it's less reliable, and my numbers seem to definitely show that. I won at a 25% rate and lost a little over $3,000 at the time trying that setup. But also, I'm sure that some losses in there were emotional too, because I was in a setup I wasn't comfortable with. Now, multi-day breakouts and then breakout continuation, which I would define as really getting back into the long trade on day 2 or day 3 of the breakout. Both of those I won less than 50% of the time. But look at how profitable I am on both of those. And that's because, you know, even though I lost more than I won, I was taking very small controlled losses, and my wins would far outweigh my losses because the risk reward was so in my favor on that setup. So, I mean, if I hadn't been tracking this, maybe I would have been getting frustrated with breakouts. Maybe I would have been saying, oh, I feel like I never win with this. And I wouldn't have seen the reality that I'm actually making good money there. The other thing that tracking can help you identify is whether the problem is with the setup you're trying to trade or with your plans for that setup. I mean, one thing I saw from tracking my trades was that I was making a lot of emotional exits. I wasn't sticking to my plans. I'd be in a trade and I'd be risking off of $1, let's say. And maybe I'm in at 105 and the stock is dipping. I'm down a couple cents a share. It's consolidating, being choppy. And I either get bored out or I'm so annoyed with being down a couple cents a share that I take it off. And my support level that I had planned to stick to never breaks down. Later, the stock ramps back up, takes off, does exactly what I thought. So you need to really see, are you giving your plans a chance to work, or are you making that emotional exit because you're getting caught up in other factors, whether it be that boredom or that fear of being down a couple cents a share, you know, the trade not immediately working. Also, I mean, ask yourself, are you often getting tricked out? That is a big factor in identifying whether or not the problem is with the setup or with your plan. I mean, breakouts, again, let's talk about those. If you are buying the breakout and constantly finding yourself selling into weakness, and then right after you sell, the stock reverses and goes the direction you thought, that might tell you that you have a bad plan and your stop loss is too tight. So, you know, even after you get out of the trade, keep watching these setups, keep seeing what do they do, and did it eventually work out or not. And that can help you modify your plans and figure out where you have to risk off of. Another really important piece of advice, I think, is trading the chart. You know, I want my primary focus at all times to be the chart and the pattern. I want to be trading off of that, not outside factors. I hide the unrealized profit and loss column on my brokers. That was a really big help to me in controlling my emotions, because I didn't constantly have those numbers staring me in the face. I mean, back when I was first trading, I would see like, oh, I'm up $150. I want to take this, and that's the completely wrong reason to make a decision. I'm not paying attention to the trend. I'm not paying attention to whether the stock is still doing what I think it should. I'm looking at my profit and I'm saying I want it, and that's the wrong reason to make a choice. So hiding the unrealized profit loss, and now I even hide the realized profit loss column on my brokers now. Like, a lot of times I don't know how much I'm up or down until the end of the day, when I finally just like take a look. But I want to focus on the chart, and that helps me do it. Also, don't set price targets. I think a lot of traders, and this included myself for sure, come into the market thinking like, okay, well, cut losses quickly. I won't lose more than 3% on a trade, or 2%, or whatever number you're comfortable with. And I think that's a really wrong way to think about it, because, you know, if you take that set number into every single setup you try to trade, you're going to be stopping out at a lot of really random points on charts. I want to focus on the chart. I want to focus on key support and resistance levels. So I would say I'll cut my loss if the $1 support level breaks down. And then I'm playing off of a number that matters, and it matters because of the chart and because of the price action. And then I'll determine my size after that risk level has been established. So for sizing in, for establishing that risk, let's say I'm long a breakout and I'm risking off of $1, and I don't want to lose more than $1,000 on this trade. I'm going to be able to take more size if I enter at $1.05 than if I enter at $1.10. At $1.05, I'm risking 5 cents a share. So with 5 cents a share risk, I can take a 20,000 share position. But at 110, that's a wider risk. That's 10 cents a share risk. $10,000 or a 10,000 share position only. Either way though, I'm playing off of that dollar support level in natural.
In 2.6 miles, turn left.
1,000 shares. I'm not going to force myself into that and put my size way out of my control and way out of my comfort zone if I'm not getting the entry I really want. Now, one important thing to think about when it comes to sizing in is don't forget about slippage. And what slippage means is that you're probably not going to get executed right at $1. You know, it's probably going to execute more like 99 cents, 98 cents. So, you know, even if I'm in that situation where I'm entering at 105 and I know that I could take 20,000 shares, I'm probably taking more like 15, 16, 17,000 and just giving myself that little bit of extra room to not execute, you know, exactly at $1. It takes a little bit of that pressure off, and then I'm not getting stubborn for the wrong reasons again, saying I can't sell at 98 because then I lose $1,200. So accounting for that really can go a long way. So we've talked a lot about losing so far, and the reason I have focused so much on losing is because I think it's really necessary to know how to lose before you are really in a position where you can win. Losing is what gives you the confidence that you're safe, knowing that stop loss, knowing your size, and you know, the question I get all the time after a big win is, how did you know? How did you know that MGT was going to tank? How did you know EVOK was going to tank? You know, just insert whatever ticker you want, and it's always preceded by how did you know? And the answer is, I never do know. I don't. I go into every single trade thinking about the potential loss first, thinking about my risk. That's the first thing on my mind. And you know what? If I'm wrong, I'm okay with it, and I'm ready to try again later. MGT is just the perfect example of one of these, because MGT gave me fits. Like, this was one of the most frustrating tickers I traded, because I went into it from the start with the wrong bias. You know, I did not respect the McAfee news. I was trying to short this, I think, probably in the 70 or 80 cent range, and the first time I shorted it, I got a little stubborn and took a little larger of a loss than I had meant to. So it just I had a really bad taste in my mouth with this ticker from the start. And I took so many losses on the way up trying to short it. But every single time it was a small loss. Every single time, you know, I really never got seriously stubborn. Just that first time, and then after that, I was really good about respecting my stops and getting out if it wasn't working. And that set me up for the big win down the road. I mean, if I liked it short at $2, I liked it short at $3, I loved it short at $4, I had to have it short at $5. MGT, you know, we're talking about learning to lose and, you know, actually cutting your losses, and I'm so fortunate that I did on this day right here. Do I have the pointer? Yeah. This is the day before the big tank, and I had tried short a few times this day. My first short, which was really just brilliant, was this short right here at low day, and but that was a little impulsive out of the gate, but I cut that loss, and I can't tell you how many times in the past I've gotten stubborn in that trade. And I rode it all the way up to 5 and had to watch it all day and cross my fingers and pray and hope, like, oh, I really want it to come back down and crack because I'm super uncomfortable right now. And then the next day, when that big tank comes along, you know, I'm so happy to get back down to break even. I'm so happy I'm not holding this big bag anymore. You know, I'd probably take it off for plus or minus a couple $1,000, and that's that. And then I really have missed this amazing opportunity right here. But MGT, I cut my losses. I cut the loss on this. I tried up in here on this high and this consolidation, and I cut when it broke past this high day resistance. And I even had a short later in the day where I pretty much top-ticked it up at 490, and I was swinging this short. I had this awesome short. Like, I added into my winner. I was short 25,000 shares, maybe a 475 average. And I'm thinking, okay, like, this has to be it. It's finally weak. And then the next morning it gaps up and opens in the 5s. And I'm cutting this loss pre-market, like swearing under my breath, because it got me again. But all of these times...
In 1,000 feet, turn left.
Here, a couple $1,000 there. As it got up into the 4s and 5s, then I thought the opportunity was just getting way too ridiculous and awesome. I was starting to size myself up a little bit intentionally, because I was saying this is one of those, you know, you only see a few times a year setups. And because I cut all those losses and never got stubborn, when it failed to have the big morning spike after the big gap up this day, when it was churning in here, consolidating, setting lower highs, I built back in. I got myself back up to about 25,000 shares short, had this nice hard crack, added a little more into this pop, and then the bottom fell out. On the way down, I made about $49,000. I reshorted the big bounce, covered into this fade throughout the afternoon, made another 15 or 18 there. I mean, this was my best trade of the year by far, best day of the year by far. And it was all because I was actually cutting my losses. I knew how to lose on the way up. I never got stubborn like I had in the past, and I'm so proud of this one as a result, because it really was where I could see a big turning point in my year, in my discipline. MGT, I was out of it completely by the end of the day. I mean, if I was building in all morning here, I covered it up.
Turn right on 5th Street North.
This panic happened quick, in 20 minutes I think. There were a couple volatility halts. When I shorted this bounce up here, I was very patient. I covered up most of it probably around.
Turn right.
So.
Turn right. Then turn right on West Central Avenue.
That's my style. I nail the volatility, I nail the move I like, and then I just move on to the next one. I haven't really stayed married to MGT since then. So learning to win, guys, it's so important that you realize this. This is your journey. I know it's...
Turn right on East Central Avenue.
Have an experienced trader telling you what to do, whether it be in the chat room or by email. But these are decisions you have to make for yourselves. I mean, I get questions a lot about brokers, how long, people should study, whether or not paper trading is useful, when they should size up, what they should be trading. I mean, myself, Tim Sykes, anyone really is very happy to offer guidance. I'll tell you what broker, has the best short sale availability. I'll tell you what broker has the lowest commissions that I know.
In a quarter of a mile, turn left.
Factors like that are important to you. Those decisions are yours to make. I'm not walking your journey, you are. Don't try to mimic others. This was one that I kind of have learned along the way. Like I'm Tim's most successful student, but if you look at my trading, I don't trade at all like Tim now. I mean, there are definitely some similarities you can see, but I'm not like an exact little protege who,
Turn left, then turn right.
And Tim just made the exact same trade. I think for myself, and I do my own thing. One of the first setups that really clicked for me was multi-day breakouts. I pulled that straight from Tim's DVD, Penny Stocking Part 2. But one of the things that I do differently than Tim with multi-day breakouts is I risk differently. Tim buys a breakout and he likes to see that resistance immediately become support. He wants to see that support level holding. Whereas when I buy a breakout, I like to use a little wider of a risk. I like to look at the last main support level before the breakout occurred. And that's what I'm sizing in for, and that's the risk I'm playing off of when I get in. And
turn right on North Dakota 23 B Truck Bypass.
And, that's just, I took that setup, I took that idea, and I made it my own. And that's what I encourage all of you guys to do with gurus also, is, no matter who the guru is, look for what makes sense.
In 1.2 miles, turn right.
Don't try to just, follow an instruction.
And this is where these two truckers died, right up here. One truck was going one way, like I'm going, right? Or say it, let me roll this window up so you hear what I'm saying. So yeah, that's where these two truckers died a couple months ago. One truck was going one way and the other truck was going the other. One was a sand can, like what would I have, a Fanatic or a Sandbox, and the other guy had an oil tanker. You'll see it right here, the black spot. So anyways, somebody clipped somebody, and the fucking tanker, the oil tanker just exploded. That son basically was just on fire for, I don't remember how long, but for a long time. But they used to have used to be black up here. I don't know if it's still black. If it's still black, yeah, right up here. You'll see the road that goes black. That's where it blew up, right here. Right here at this turn, man. Right here at this turn is where they clipped each other. That's where they both died, right here. You see where the black is. And you can still see some of the fire marks, but yeah. This is it right here.
In 1,000 feet, turn right.
In general, I think setting goals is not good. I mean, everyone I think gets their foot in the door with trading because they're thinking about the potential rewards. They're seeing the traders who have made it, the millionaires, lifestyles they're living. and it's really hard not to get caught up in all of that. But you're not going to get there overnight. You're not even going to get there in 6 months probably. It's a really long journey, and you've got to learn to be satisfied with the baby steps to go along with that. I mean, I for a long time when I was struggling, I just wanted to be green on the week, and then from there, you know, the goals would slowly increase. All of a sudden, you know, I was thinking, okay, maybe I want to make $1,000 this week or $2,000. But the important difference here is that I'm not going into the week with that goal, trying to do everything I can to make that happen and pressing and forcing trades. You know, it was more of like an after the week reflection, right? I'd feel like I had a good week if I had made it to a certain number. But you know, the funny thing is, I never started off thinking I want to be a millionaire. I wasn't focused on that end goal at all. I was just taking it one little step at a time. You know, first I just wanted to make money and be successful, a little bit consistent. And the journey, it's going to have all kinds of obstacles along the way, all kinds of, you know, unexpected lessons, unexpected losses, and setbacks that you're going to have to overcome.
Right here.
Adapt or perish. This is another really important.
I've never been to this load. This is my first time. I'm gonna pop my cherry. you what, they got a lot of piping out here. All this pipe out here. All that pipe. It's a lot of pipe, boys. All that. It's a lot of pipe. I don't think I've ever seen that much pipe in one location. They got rows and rows of that shit. Yeah, they got rows of that, boy. I gotta get Class A real quick. Class A real quick. Class A. If you don't know the term Class A, you don't know. Class A means military terms, prison terms. Get Class A. Get right. Put your shit on. Put your uniform on. Beautiful today. Beautiful weather. Beautiful day to make money today. Oh, right. Hard hat, got the hard hat. Want me to put a hard hat on? Okay. I will put a hard hat on for you. You want a hard hat? I'll give you a hard hat. There you go. I'm gonna open this hatch. Hey, what's up, buddy? Yeah. I was gonna call you, man. I was gonna tell you. You got me going to the 35 mile well, right? Yeah. Where's it at? Where's it at? Which 22? Which one's 22? You mean like go towards Newtown, right? Is that what you're saying? So if I go through Newtown, I keep going, and then I'm gonna make a left on, like, going towards Kildare. Okay. Well, where you at? Where you at? Wildcat. Yeah. No. No, man. I went to the Uniman. Train trip. Yeah. So, well, stop. So I'm coming from the loader, right? So when I go towards, I'm gonna pass the courthouse, right? And I'm gonna pass that Cenex, right? I'm gonna go to the dollar store and I'm gonna make a left at that road, right? Okay, all right. And you're gonna be right there? All right, I'll call you when I get there, man. All right, bye. Yeah, my boy takes care of me, man. Big shout out to my boy Jim. We're gonna do an interview. We're gonna do an interview later. He's been doing this a long time, so don't take my word for it. He's gonna tell you guys. He's gonna tell you guys in a few minutes if we got some time, which I'm sure we got some time. He's been out here when it was cranking up. He's been out here when, you know, pay was really good and how the pay was really shitty, which is kind of how it was a few months ago. Now it's cranked up. So she is a deer chihuahua. There's Angel. Where is Angel? She's in the back. I'll rest my eyes for a second. Rest my eyes for a second. Oh, shit. You are a dirty little girl. You got your mind in the gutter, little woman. You a dirty little girl. Man. That dirty little mind. Gemini. Yeah. takes a little bit of time, man. It don't take that long. Every load is different, you know. It just depends their setup. This is a small loader, so their setup is not going to be as good as a bigger loader. You know what I mean? You'll be in and out with a big loader in 5 minutes. Less than that, like 3 minutes, 2 minutes. Like 2 minutes, you'd be in and out. These guys here, they got small loaders. You know, it's a small operation, so it takes a little longer. Being a small loader, I like this setup because the setup is right here. You don't move. Like other setups like this that are small like this, man, they got you running around their fucking yard to get loaded. You gotta leave the spot where you are to get, you know, if you're a split, you have to go get reweighed, and then you gotta drive back, and you gotta wait in line. It's just a fucking clusterfuck. You know what I mean? This shit right here, the way it got set up, I'm on the scale house is right next to me, right? And I get all my paper right here. I don't move. The only thing moves is the rail cart. Like if they need to fucking make a split load, or they ran out of sand on one of the carts, they pull it. Here, see what they just did? You see what he just did? He just moved that rail cart where he just got out of. He moved that rail cart. So I stay put. He moves. I don't move anywhere. Well, some of these other locations, you're the move. You gotta move. So not only you gotta move and then wait in line for everybody else to finish what the fuck they're doing. So it's just like, fuck that. Red River's another one. I'm glad I didn't go to Red River. I'm glad I didn't take that load. Because Red River's like that. Fuck around, you get a split load, you gotta wait back in line. And that place is a clusterfuck. They have no idea how to set that place up properly to be efficient to where you're in and out. They have no idea. Whoever put that place is dumber than a fucking doornail. Yeah, whoever set that place up, Red River, they as dumb as a motherfucker, man. They don't know what the fuck they were doing. They actually changed the name, so somebody bought them out, and I think hopefully they're smarter. Because people that were running that place before, straight shit show. They have no idea what the fuck they're doing there. Especially when they got 20, 30 fucking trucks all trying to get loaded. You got one scale, 30 trucks, multiple different places to get loaded. This is perfect. You get loaded, you don't move. They need to move, they need sand, they fucking move. You stay put. You get your paperwork right here. You don't even get out your truck. I love it. The other places, you got to get out your truck and fuck that. This is perfect. Whoever set this up, they trying to make money. They want you in and out as fast as possible. That's efficiency is where it's at, man. That's how you make money. That's how you make money, man. You gotta be efficient in what you do, no matter what you do. Red River is definitely not efficient. Central is definitely not efficient. This place right here, efficient. They know exactly what they're doing around here. But yeah, they got a lot of. They don't have that many. No, it's not that many. But yeah, like I said, they got a lot of Africans up here. A lot of Africans. I wouldn't call them black because they're not black. They're African. need to sign this?
Yeah, that's your copy.
Okay. Top one or the bottom one? Okay. Now, which one you get? This one. Thanks, man. All right. Well, goddamn. All right, so I got a quick nap. That's how long it took. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I'm ready. Guys, let's get out of here. Let's get it rolling. fuck around here. Yeah, it's not the place to fuck around at. Hey, I'm on this road I just made a left on. Which one am I making a right? 2nd Street or? Okay. Okay. Copy that. My buddy right there. You're on YouTube. Guy's been doing this a long time. So we'll interview him when we get a chance. And you guys can fill you in how it used to be, how it is now, and all that good stuff. Awesome guy though, man. Shout out to my boy Jim. Shout out for Jim, man. Taking care of your boy. Showing me the ropes. Making sure I get paid right. Shout out. that's nice. I think it's jacked. Fucking tires on that bad boy. Sick. Chick driving that shit too. Female driving that damn truck. Yeah, the girl. you, bro.
Yeah, because we're supposed to just keep you guys running. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, man. This shit right here, this dirt right here, will fuck you up right here. This dirt is no joke. Yeah, you don't want to be breathing this motherfucker in. That's some bad shit right there. Woo, look at that ride. Get it, boy. Push that damn KW, boy. Push it. Push that KW, boy. Boy, push it up. Oh, man. Oh, man, I missed my gear, dude. Fuck. What the fuck? It's all good. That Caterpillar. Oh, look at that. That Caterpillar getting it. Dead stop, 40,000 pounds, all up in the hill, man. I got excited. I lost my train of gear thought. Oh man, I should not fucking die out of gear again. God damn it. Mr. Caterpillar, get it, boy. Look at him. Get it, boy. Look at Caterpillar, boy, he tearing shit up, man. First gear getting that motherfucker. Woo, get a cat. Get a cat. Get a cat. Oh, man, Caterpillar. Boy, he'll never let me down, boy. I love you, cat. Look at him. Woo. That boy just not fucking around. Yeah, I love Mr. Caterpillar, boy. He is not fucking around. I'm dead stop on that fucking hill, and it just pulled right through it like it's nothing. It was fun watching Jim hit that hill, though. By the time I see him hit that hill, there was no way for me to get the momentum. He already knew to pick up speed. I didn't know. But next time I come in this motherfucker, I'm gonna hit that bitch like no other. Bat out of hell. Nice. Is this Slumberjay or Baker Hughes? Who is this? This looks like Baker Hughes. Yeah, this looks like Baker Hughes. I don't know who they are. I have no idea who these guys are. But it don't matter. It's money. That's who it is. That's who this is. I'm not fact who give a fuck who this is. I think it's Baker Hughes, BJ, right? It's BJ Services? Yep, sure is. Baker Hughes. Sure is, I think. I'm not sure. I say BJ on the side of the door, so I'm assuming it's Baker Hughes. But it doesn't say Baker Hughes, it's BJ. I don't know who fuck this is. I tell you what though, everybody out here in these fields, they all got a smile on their face. And they got a smile, they busy working. But most of them got smiles on them, man. Motherfuckers making money, that's why. I know, Caterpillar. Dead stop. 40,000. I'm 80,000. I'm fucking loaded. I got 80. I'm 80,000. And I'm dead stop on the top of that hill. Man, that thing just took it like it was no. Man, it just took every bit of that. Took every bit of that hill. No problem. No problem. Try that shit with a Cummins or. I heard Detroit's actually pretty good. I heard Detroit is a Caterpillar. But you do that with a Cummins, oh man, you might as well hang that shit up. You going right back down that hill. that bitch gonna blow up. Yeah, we have Baker Hughes. This is a Baker Hughes site. No wonder why the rates were shit. No wonder why the fucking rates were shit. Now, if I was hauling this somewhere else, now I'm gonna show you how shitty Baker Hughes rates are. Fucking terrible. 371. Yeah, they're way off, man. Way the fuck off. Way the fuck off. Fuck is that bill at? Yeah, so, yeah, the rates are off, dude. $371 if I were hauling with these guys. So off by $10.
You keep.
Okay. 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 You ready? Okay. We're here, ladies and gentlemen. We are here. You may exit. You may exit. Hope you enjoyed the Fuck You Money flight. Hope you enjoy your stay. Now it's time to make some money. If I can find my head wrap, that'll be great. My head wrap anywhere? side. Okay, 4, got it. Okay. Good. driving right next to me. His name's Rick. He was over the road, just bought his own truck, and he was saying, you know, for 200 miles, they were giving like $500, right, for a 200-mile run. He comes here, does about 100 miles, pays him $800. Huge fucking difference. Huge difference, man, out here. You know, you go from over the road making $200. I mean, yeah, 200 miles making $500 to making, you know, a 100-mile run. A 100-mile run. A 100-mile run making $800 to $900. That's a big difference, man. 100 miles, you're making $800 to over the road doing 200 miles making $500. Fucking shit rates, bro. Talk about shitty rates, huh? I heard that, I was like, whoa. Whoa! Holy shit, man. I'm making $360 to the truck for 35 miles. Let's do the math. So look, I'm making on 35 miles, right? On 35 miles, I am making $9 a mile. I'm making $9 a mile out here. $9. Over the road, I'd be lucky to get 2. That's the difference. That's the difference out here. That's the difference out here. That is the difference between over the road and the oil field. I'm making literally like $9.10 a mile on 35 miles. On a 35-mile run, I'm making $9.10 or 15 cents. Yeah, $9.15 per mile. I didn't make a video about that. $9.15 a mile. That's what I make out here. I'm gonna make a video about that.